Hey everybody, Kendra here. So I just want to talk about relationships. I saw John Gottman's post or the Gottman's post, not just him. And it talked about red flags and green flags. I have on my website a blog for dating, things like that. I have a part 1 and part 2 for red flags and green flags in a relationship. So you should go check that out. And I just wanted to talk about me and my partner. So I did write in a book the things I valued, the things I wanted in a partner, those kind of things, but when I was searching for a partner really, or just being open to one, right? And being open to having a partner means you need to do your work around your attachment style, and you can just look this stuff up, it's everywhere. You need to do work around healing your heart. You need to look at all of your relationships with your caregivers, with every intimate partner, and write it down. It's a long-term homework assignment. I give this to all of my clients. Write it down. The way your caregivers were with each other, the way they were with you, the way they communicated with you. Were they avoidant? Were they anxious? Were they disorganized? Was it chaotic? Those kinds of things. Because you're repeating those patterns. If you just keep going and going, you're just going to repeat the same patterns. So the thing is with my partner though, is I hear a lot of people say, well, that's a red flag. It's something like a preference is a red flag, and they get that mixed up. A preference is not a red flag. Red flag is stonewalling, is being very angry, is assaulting you in any way, verbally, emotionally, physically, sexually, not taking responsibility for their behavior. There's many other red flags, right? Those are non-negotiables in any relationship. A preference is well, I really want my partner to be spiritual rather than Catholic. That's a preference, right? But then we also get wrapped up in all of these things. And what we're doing is it's an active resistance, because we're not allowing people to come in our lives and get to know them because we're so scared of it. We're fearful. It sends a survival response in our body, right? Because we also haven't done our work and healed things. But also it's hard to remain curious, because curiosity is vulnerability. Then there's the safety around that, the survival around that. And it is good to be cautious of people, right? But there's a difference between being I've been single for 5 years and, that's a choice, right? There's many ways to date people. There's many ways to do things like that. And it's not, anyone's choice but your own. So remember that, because my partner, if he was on a website, right? I didn't really like online dating. I tried it and I was like, no. But if he was on a website, let's say, or if I had just heard about him and he had said some of the things, he went to A&M, he was Baptist, and he just other little things, right? He's into basketball, those kinds of things. Those things were not my preferences. I was because of the experiences I've had with people like that, from these basketball people or Baptist people or people from A&M, I'm that's not really my jam. But I met him. I didn't know any of these things about him. I got to know him, and yeah, I was rigid at first, and I had been doing healing, and I was very rigid with stuff, and he was just so open and sweet and kind, and I just realized that he wasn't what I had made up in my mind about these things. And if I had just completely resisted love coming into my life because I was scared, and I was still scared, I wouldn't have grown like I am now. I wouldn't have had the experiences of healing that I have now. I wouldn't have become less guarded and opened up more to a balance of my masculine and feminine energies. He is a willing participant in my life. And yes, I had things that I was okay, well, we have to do this or we can't be together, and he was okay. And so he did it. And so it's those kinds of things. And so I had my non-negotiables, but my preferences were not red flags. And my red flags were red flags, and my green flags were green flags. But even some of those red flags, we've worked on them, like being anxious, me, and him being more avoidant, which is how it normally works in a relationship when you get with somebody. And we've worked on that, and we've healed and grown together. So give yourself space to allow in something that is different. Give yourself coping skills to regulate your nervous system so you can have curiosity about the people you're dating. And don't be so focused on dating and finding love. Be more focused on yourself, on finding joy in your life, and on loving yourself. Or at least liking yourself, accepting yourself, something like that. Okay, bye.